Who would have thought I'd find myself here in the natural beauty of what is the largest sand island in the world, a place of culture, history and much more, a place where the fishing is great and the sights are breathtaking. It's all here on one of the nicest parts of the world, the island we call Fraser.
I've never really been the one who's worried. Always been the one who's keeping it cool.
Pretty spectacular.
The kind of guy who chill while others hurry. I didn't know that I've been the fool. I've been telling lies about something real, but I know love is based on honesty.
It is your trip leader in India.
Yes.
Love should feel, knowing that it's not just you, it's me. 'Cause I was made to be free. I am made to be free.
Well, the plan for today was to leave the Waddy Creek camp, have a look at some lakes, which we may or may not have got to, go and have some much needed showers at Dundabara, have a feed and then head back to the Maheno campground for another night on the east coast. Let's see how we went. Well, good morning from Waddy Creek. It's quiet, calm and very pleasant here this morning, but not quite how it was yesterday. I'll give you a look at it. I'm a bit worried about the sky over here. I'm hoping that doesn't mean much. I'd much prefer that that rainbow means a little bit more. Still a very pleasant place to camp last night. That's what camp looks like this morning. A little bit hard to see from down here, I think. Probably too dark. We have got blue sky over that way. So let's hope the day looks after us. And how's that for just a nice bit of water? Got to be happy with that. Anyway, nobody else is up yet, so probably going to drag my swag in under the awning a little bit in case anything happens until we start packing up properly. I tell a lie, Jake is up. Oh, in good news, we found Jake's number plate yesterday that was washed off in the Waddy Creek. We did find it, so he has his plate, so it's good. Anyhow, I'm going to go and back to the camp and work out what we're going to do next. So we'll see you a little bit later in the day. Heading back to the east coast today, so we'll see where we end up and what we wind up doing.
I was on a
We've left the Wynyard Creek and we're on the Wynyard Road, working our way past a couple of lakes. I can't think of the names of them. When I find them, I'll put them up for you, or I'll put a picture of the map up, or both, or what. Anyway, somewhere you'll see something about these lakes. We're going to have a look at those when we can, work our way back to Warrelly Road and back across to the west side of the island. We haven't got a lot planned today, so we're some of us who needed showers, and well, it could be me, and yeah, we're going to duck up to Dundabara campground and do that, because they've got paid showers there, very similar to Central Station. So we'll do that, and then we'll head back to the Maheno zone and find camp. So it's a pretty straightforward day today. Depending on how early it is, we may venture all the way back down to Happy Valley, I don't know, or we may just hang at Eli Creek. We'll just see how the day goes. But at the moment it's just drive out and find where we're going. Now, as you can see, the weather's gone a little bit pear-shaped on us. It's overcast and there's been some rain, so we'll just have to see what it holds. Today was forecast originally to be the worst day, so we're hoping that the forecast is right and it is in fact the worst day, and that everything else gets better from there. So that's our plan for today at the moment, guys. So we will show you more when there's more places of interest for you to look at. Now, driving along this track, and for some reason, tennis balls have gone wild. They're growing natively here on the track. Now, we don't know why, but it seems very odd. Just, I didn't know that tennis balls grew out on Fraser Island. That in itself is a bit weird, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen tennis balls growing native on a track before, so I had to stop and show you, because that's left me scratching my head, literally. But there they are. You just don't see that every day. So I had no choice but to show you. The rest of the boys are coming by the end of it, so it's a catch-up time. Now, as a lot of you know, Fraser Island was pretty well on fire a couple of years ago now, and this area was obviously battered by a fire, but have a look at how it's coming back. You can see all the blackened stumps, the trees, they're all black, all the trunks are black. But look at all the leaves, it's just new growth everywhere. And in a couple of years' time, you won't even know there's been a fire through here. That's how well it's coming back. So thank God it's coming back like it is, because gee, we had serious doubts we'd be able to come back to Fraser Island there for a while, but fortunately it's looking good. So I don't know how much of that you're catching through this camera, but as you can see, it's all pretty green, so therefore it's responding well to the fire that it had, and it's looking as good as ever. Well, here's a different perspective, guys, from the side shot out of the car. Lake Naran, or Naran, I'm presuming the G is silent. So I don't know if there's anywhere else to stop to have a look at that lake. So that's what we're looking at so far. If there is a parking area, we'll find it. Well, that behind me is Cathedral Beach. Now, Cathedral Beach is a privately run camping ground slash caravan park, but it does have a little general store and a takeaway, as it turns out. So we just had a nice lunch, burgers called Fraser Burgers, and there is other burgers there, but Mark and myself went to Fraser's, and it was really good. Now, the weather is not as good as it should be today, but today's the worst day we're going to have apparently for rain on the island. It should get better after today. So we're heading back down to the Maheno camping zone. We'll set up our campsite. It's only early in the day yet, so I don't know what else we're going to do today, but who knows, we may wind up back at Happy Valley, we may just chill, I don't know, but that's how the day's going to roll, and we'll see what we can see. But as you would have seen by now, it wasn't a lot to show you on the inland track coming back. So here we are. But it's not a bad little spot. It has toilet facilities for the public. It's got fuel, which at the moment is the cheapest diesel we've seen on the island at $3.20. And then there's the caravan park and all the other stuff. Now, you can actually purchase a bit of Wi-Fi when you're here, even if you're not staying here, so that can be handy too. Anyhow, with all that said, we will show you more, of course, when we can. So see you soon. So we've arrived at Dundabara camping area. We are not actually camping here. We will be later on in the trip, but not just yet. We have come up here to actually use the showers here, as not too many places on Fraser actually have showers as your main camping areas, like Central Station, Dundabara, and anything that's sort of like a designated camping area. All the camping zones, like we were in last night, Wynyard Creek camping zone and Maheno camping zone like we're in tonight, don't have showers. It's kind of, you have to go up or down to the closest main point, and for us this is it. So we're going to be using these ones. It does look like a nice little spot though, and I am looking forward to camping here in a couple of days time on the way back down from the top. This is a top little spot. Well, we made it back down after our lunch at Cathedral Beach, which was very nice. And we came to the Maheno zone where we were booked into camp again, and weirdly enough, we've planked ourselves in the exact same spot we camped in last time. Strange but true. So it doesn't look a lot different, other than the fact that it was raining a bit when we got here. So we've done a little bit more rainproof setup this time. Like Alan and Leanne have got two side walls up instead of usually the one. We've got the little powwow of all the wagons in a circle over there, so all the awnings are close together. And Marco and I will park sideways this time, just for a bit more protection. We've done they've christened it the Palace setup, like we had at Central Station, purely and simply because we wanted to keep the weather off the swags as much as possible. So that's what we've done here. I think it's worked out pretty good. But because we are at the same camping zone in the Maheno zone, the same spot, I don't honestly see a great deal or a great need to show you too much more, because you saw this the other day when the weather was a bit nicer. So I don't need to show it to you again, I don't think. So this will probably do us for today's video, and we'll wind up having tea and stuff at some stage, and we will see you just a little bit later on.
Back in this fantastic spot down here in the Maheno zone, and thankfully I was right. The weather sort of cleared up for us, and have a look at that. That's what we're after right there. Some nice sunny weather, absolutely picturesque morning here on the eastern beach of Fraser Island.
Well, as you can see, the weather has improved. We've mostly packed up camp. Get a load of that behind me now. I won't hold you there too long because you're probably getting sun glare. But that's our view today. Obviously it's much nicer now that the sun's out. Most people are packed up, we're pretty well ready to go. So today we're heading to Ocean Lake Campground, which is the other side of Indian Head. And we'll probably do the infamous Nagala Rocks tomorrow. So at the moment, there's not a lot I can tell you about just yet. I'm just going to go back up the beach, back past the wreck, drop off a little bit of rubbish, duck into Cathedral Beach again to grab a couple more supplies, and then keep going north. We'll show you more when we can. I've arrived at the Pinnacles, and the Pinnacles is like a bunch of coloured sands. Well, I was a bit underwhelmed with this bit, so I sort of talked over it and wasn't much to show you, so I thought I'd speed this part up just to get through it, and then we'll come back to the part that I personally think looks better. The viewing area, not that great, and wasn't worth me going up there, to be honest. So still got to show you everything on these trips, but we'll be coming back out onto the sand any second now, and it'll be back to past me talking more about it. Don't know how well they show up on camera, but you can see the different coloured sand that makes up the dune. It's pretty impressive. So, not sure why these ones are still open and eroded and not all vegetated like the rest of the dune around it. But that's how they are. So it's just another thing to see on Fraser Island. Right, we'll continue. Now we're now last. The rest of my crew's gone past me and headed off to Cathedral Beach.
Having a bit of fun here on this inland track behind Champagne Pools. The car park was absolutely chock-a-block when we went past there, and we couldn't find a spot, so we're just powering on behind it now, obviously, as you can't drive around it due to the tides. So yeah, interesting little track actually. It's a little bit more rutted out than I expected, and the beginning was actually quite soft. There's a lot of traffic coming through this region, as I'm sure this is one of the most popular areas on Fraser, so it'll be interesting to see what we end up doing, as Champagne Pools was on the to-do list for today, but we've had to drive past. So we definitely will check that out at the next given opportunity, which is probably going to be on the way back down. So we'll see what else we can do today. At this moment, we're just heading through the inland track towards Orchard Beach.
Well, after a couple of hours of bits and pieces of relatively interesting, spirited driving, we've arrived at Waddy Point, which is only, probably half an hour away from where we're camping, and it's only 11:15. So we'll go and have a look, and we'll make our way to camp a little bit later. We're not far from Orchard Beach at Waddy Point, so we'll give you a look around it. But this is what the beach area looks like at Waddy Point at the moment. Now, tide is out, so when the tide comes in, all of that beach there will be inaccessible. You have just that little bit just there to drive back around. In the meantime, we're going to go for a walk up here and check it out, see what there is to see at Waddy Point, and take it all in. I know this particular video may be a bit disjointed, but it's mostly just because, you drive on the beach looks the same for quite a long time. The inland tracks look much the same for quite a long time. So I'm just trying to show you the points of interest more than anything on this one, guys. But we still try to show you a bit of driving as well, of course, because I know that's what you want to see. Now we'll come for a walk up the rocks here and see where we get to when we get up here. Oh, and by the way, if you are at Waddy Point, there's phone reception, so that's kind of handy. After a few days of not having good, reliable reception, it's probably nice to have some. Now, we're just walking through the rocks and stuff here to get us to where we want to be. We've made the climb to the top of Waddy Point, so I'll give you a squiz at it without having to stare at me all the time. Down there is the channel I was showing you earlier. You can't quite see where our cars are parked. They're tucked in behind that little exposed area there. But this is the view that you get from up here. It's pretty good. Just the exposed area just out here on the headland. I'm going to walk to a point where, if Karen is with me, she'd go off the chops, but she'll be happy to know I'm not going to climb up on that. But that's the view all the way around. There's a pot of dolphins out there that you won't get on this camera, but I might be able to show you on some other footage soon. So not a bad spot. It's a bit of height to get up here. It's not a killer. So if you're on Fraser Island, I'd suggest you come for a walk. Now there is another walking track up that headland there to get to the top of that, and that'd be nice too, no doubt, but I'm happy with this one. So if you want to check out more of it, get up here to Fraser and have a look. It's worth it.
Believe me,
Well, that's Waddy Point done and dusted, and I hope you agree with me. It's a pretty special looking place, well worth a squiz. If you get up here to Fraser, I'd suggest you go and have a look at it. Our next port of call is to head up the beach a little bit more, possibly play around on a dune with some boards, maybe not. Plenty of time yet before we head back to, or down to our new camp for tonight. So the crew and myself, we're just wandering around exploring and seeing what there is to see. So it's pretty good. It's a nice part of the island, but it's not the part where all the tourists come up to. Well, not tourists in buses and stuff like that. Obviously we're tourists, we have our own cars. You can't come up these parts, I don't think, in hire cars or anything like that, or buses. I think this is for people who own private vehicles. So come up, have a look at it. Back with you again this afternoon. Here is our campsite at Ocean Lake Camp. Didn't show you driving in here because it looks pretty well like everything else, as you'd sort of expect. But most of the crew are camped down here. All the good looking ones. All the good looking ones are camped down here. And for reasons only known, there's the good looking ones. And the reasons only known to himself, Ryan's gone up here in the wilderness to snob us all up. So he's hiding by himself like a big fairy Nancy skirty blousy boy. And we don't know why. But anyway, maybe he just wanted to try and get a view. Either that or he just hates us, one or the other, we're not sure. Anyway, we're walking up to suss out the next level camping zone, because he's chosen to camp up here in anti-social mode. Anyway, that's okay, I suppose. Look, he's even made it the next level with the max tracks underneath. To next level it up. I know why he's done it. He's done this so he can camp up here and have this view and basically just be antisocial and hate the rest of us. That's what he does.
Is that Mudduck's four drive touring?
It is. So here's Ryan's view from camp. The rest of us, we just have to look at dunes, but no, not Ryan. So, yeah. It's pretty nice. So, probably not much more to show you. It's another beach, another view, which is cool, but in the end it's a beach again. It does look nice and we have nice weather, so that's good. Not sure what else I could show you today. Hasn't been a lot to show you on some of these days, but a lot of it's just transiting from point to point, so that's just how it goes. Well, that brings us to the end of part 6, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, put a like on it, really helps the channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, click the notification bell and you'll know when all of the new videos come up. To the old hands, thanks as always for taking the time of your day to watch one of our clips. Just get out there, enjoy the bush, and as you can see, just a few pics here at the end to finish this one off. We'll see you next week. Take care. We'll see you then. Cheers from Steve Kaz at Mudduck's Four Drive Touring. Here at Next Level Adventures Camping and Excitement, we see a Ryan creature in his natural element. Where everybody else is enjoying things, no. He needs to charge every bloody thing.
Yes.
Because that's what Ryan does. So if you see a Ryan creature in the wild, don't disturb him.
you might frighten the crap out of his batteries.
Yep.